Welcome to Turning Hard Times to Good Times. I'm your host, Jay Taylor. Really happy to tell you that Chen Lin is with me once again. One of the most frequent guests on this show, I suppose, and a good friend of mine dating back now for a couple of decades. Chen is really a great guy. He's been a very successful investor, good friend of mine. And I would suggest that if you're a serious investor, you may want to consider investing to Chen's newsletter. What is Chen buying? What is Chen selling? And you can go to chenpicks.com to do that. Chen, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Jake. Glad to be back.
Always good to have you. You really keep pretty well posted on what's going on in China. Your family is back there. You have friends back there. And so I think your newsletter, just for that alone, is worth the subscription price. But give us a little bit of a sense of what's going on now between, well, we know from our perspective here, Trump's tariffs and the sort of economic warfare that's going on in a way. But the rare earth magnets, and I guess that Chairman Xi has agreed to delay that for 1 year. Could you talk about that? And then also, he's also said we're not going to export silver anymore. I believe he said that. But just what are your feelings about the U.S. and Chinese relationship right now, Chen, and how that may impact our own economy here?
Yeah, first of all, let's talk about rare earths. There is an incorrect market perception right now because there is some sweet talking by the government, by our government. They say, oh, the China going to open up rare earths for a year, which is untrue. China's opened up to the car manufacturer, to the civilian usage of rare earths for about a year. But for the military or dual use, right, to Boeing, for example, China want to make sure the rare earth is used in a regular airplane, not in
military.
Fighter jet. Yes.
Interesting.
Very, very tough control on that. China, actually, there's a Wall Street Journal article this week. I just said that what China is doing is, yes, they have a promise to open up the rare earth only for the non-military use.
Wow.
So for the United States government, for military, fighter jet, or the other rocket. Yeah,
that's very interesting, Chen. I don't think, that's part of the propaganda game, right? They tell us what they want us to hear. You don't hear everything. And that's increasingly a problem for the establishment because we have now, the internet and the ability for people to hear stories that they wouldn't otherwise hear. When the United States had 3 major networks that could be controlled very easily, now it's a little more difficult. So the truth sometimes gets out. And so for civilian use, yes, maybe for the next year, the U.S. can get its rare earth magnets from China, but not for military. And they'll be very careful about who it's going to, I guess. And probably if the U.S. tries to sneak one in on Chairman Xi, he'll say, okay, that's it. You're not even going to get them for civilian use, perhaps. I'm just guessing. So we have...
Yeah, I want to mention a little bit. I put in my newsletter only last week, I learned for the first time, actually, China put on the silver in the export control list.
Right.
It's first time in history. Okay,
right.
So I put it there in my newsletter as it was pretty shocking. What I learned was subsequently that China didn't appreciate half of the silver inventory went to London for the short covering. We know there was a short squeeze in London. That was led because of silver flow to United States, because potentially silver tariff. And then London had a short squeeze. And then everybody, when we fly all the silver back from the United States and China, everywhere to cover the shorts. And there's a well-established report that Chinese silver inventory was cut in half.
Wow.
So that's the first thing. China didn't appreciate that. I think we discussed a little bit like a Nixon cut off the gold window. China is cutting off the silver window.
The silver window, yeah. Yeah, and they had a large supply, did they?
Yeah, China is the largest silver producer. And because silver is a byproduct of copper, zinc, lead, and all the smelter. China has the largest smelter in the world. So, and also there's other silver mine. China also have a gold smelter, right? So, refractory, especially China is very good at getting refractory gold out. So all these are silver byproduct. So there are reports that China produced more than 50% of the silver worldwide. So they have the capability of corner silver as well. So I feel this first is China didn't appreciate the silver, half of silver gone to London. Second, it could potentially open up another front with the United States because silver is not in the Trump agreement. Okay, we only talk about rare earths, and silver is not. And then interestingly, in the same week, United States officially put silver in the critical metal list.
Exactly. So not a coincidence.
So exactly. So that's we could have a silver squeeze somewhere because the silver become critical because silver is used heavily in solar panel, in all these cars, electrical cars, also in the semiconductor AI chips, everywhere. Silver is the best conductor in the world. There's nothing to replace that. You just cannot replace silver completely. There are people trying to reduce silver load in the solar panel. They put the copper in the middle and silver to wrap around that. You can do it, but as the wire getting thinner and thinner, there's so much you can do to replace silver. So silver still needed, heavily used in all the different industry, and it's declared as a critical metal in United States and China. And it's under Chinese export control starting 2026.
Yeah. Well, it was just, you mentioned the short squeeze. It seems to me, Chen, this happened some time ago in the gold markets too, when the tariffs were announced. All of a sudden, there was huge amounts of gold that came to the United States from London. And that's happened with silver now too. I think that's something going on in the Trump administration. They're, I think, recognizing the value of gold and silver more than what the prior administration did. And it has to be the big bullion banks that are the big, because they're enormous contracts and they're not interested in paper trade anymore. They want the real thing. And if you had 100 times more volume in paper than in the actual trade, which is what I understand in the silver markets, the gold markets, same thing. All these bankers playing a game, people think they own gold when they buy an ETF. But if the ETF doesn't have gold to back those shares, they don't really have any gold, but they're just playing a paper game. So this has been going on for decades. And the Gold Antitrust Action Committee has been documenting this for years and years. It's a fraud. It's a kind of a fraud that's going on. People not knowing, they go out and buy silver, gold contracts, think they actually own gold. They do not. It's not there. So now aside from China, there have been people that have been predicting for a long time there's going to be this sort of a crunch, when the silver, the gold just isn't available at any price, So now, Chen, I just want to mention, Michael Oliver on the 11th of November put out an article, special, just a silver thing, and he mentioned in 1980 and in 2011, silver goes to $50. Very shortly thereafter, it plummets in price. It doesn't hold up there very long. This time it's been different. He said they were able to take it down to $46. This was written on the 11th of November. And he says, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. It better go pretty quickly, or else if it sees 50 again, it's going to be game over. And then he's thinking something on the 70 to 100. Well, Chen, I looked before we started talking here on Wednesday. And it's $53.30 some cents or something like that. So it's broken the 50 clearly. So I think now I should tell our viewers that in the notes that you sent to me before we decided to talk here, silver, 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 silver is what you said. Whatever you want to talk about, Chen. Silver, 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 and more silver. And so
I've been pounding the table to my subscribers. Since last week when I saw that China actually put silver under export control. And I've been buying silver stock, buying call options on silver stock, buying silver juniors, buying anything you can.
Options and forward I don't know, not contracts, but options and things. So it's really exciting. I guess maybe before we move on to some of your favorite silver stocks, silver plays, I'd like to ask you other critical metals, critical minerals. Energy Fuels is a company you've been following And you talked to us the last time we had you on, you talked about Energy Fuels. They're not making money yet, right? Maybe they're making money in the uranium aspect of their business, but overall they're losing money, in part, no doubt, because they're gearing up to do critical metals.
They will make money early next year. Starting next year, they're making money in uranium. Their mill was switched to rare earths for the most part of second half. So they still continue to mine. Their ore was piling up, and then they're going to switch back to uranium to reprocess those ore, and then to get free cash flow. They're one of the lowest cost uranium producer in the world. So we should see significant free cash flow next year from their uranium business. And for their other, I believe uranium business worth $10 to $15 if you compare with other uranium players. So I've been backing up the truck again at about $15 range, just where we are today. Actually, all the rare earths are down. All the rare earth players are down big. I just don't understand, because it's pretty obvious the rare earth is not flowing to the United States military. And China put all the different opticals and all the sensors, and the trader doesn't care. Trader just want to buy and sell. They want to. You can see the uranium is the boom and bust.
Yeah.
I mean, well, not uranium, a rare earth, boom and bust. But there's a value out there, especially for energy fuel. Last time they did the financing, 700 million. Convertible. It's about $15, so it's where it is. So I think it's a good value here.
At this value,
I am buying.
You're at around $15. You're saying?
Yes.
You see it as good. So the traders are in it for the short term, the quick buck, and they don't pay that much attention to the fundamentals. A lot of times that's the way it works. So that's Energy Fuels, and so they're really. I guess you explained the last time. They a lot of the because their plant can produce uranium, the radioactive. A lot of these other rare earths bring with them radioactive material that they can handle in their plant, and it's of course very difficult to get permits for that sort of thing, and even the technical know-how, I suppose. Not that prevalent.
Just think about that. They want to expand their current mill to have double it, to have one line for uranium, one line for rare earths. That permit take a year and a half.
Do they have it now, though?
They want to expand the mill.
But they don't have the
permitting take 1.5 years, even in the private line in Utah. Just think about just all these complexities.
Even though it's private land, it's going to take a year and a half.
Only,
When did they start the process?
The state, Utah state permit, yes.
Right. Oh, so just a Utah state permit requires a year and a half. When did they start?
They estimate because there's all these NGOs, all these people, every time, even they operate, people will protest.
Right.
They want to expand, they will go to the hearing, they will swamp the hearings. They will protest, they will speak out of their lungs. I mean, there will be a lot of, they estimate will take a year and a half to get a permit to expand the current fully permitted mill.
Well, maybe it's the same people.
It is.
Maybe it's the same people that would like to see America go away too. So who cares about the military if you want to see the country destroyed? So when did they start the process for the permitting?
They are starting now. I think they already started. They're hoping a year and a half.
A lot of work to put.
They're hoping, finger crossed. They hope to get a permit here.
Well, I have to think the chances of getting it sooner rather than later are better under the Trump administration than it would have been under the past administration. I just believe that Trump really wants to see this happen, and they want to reshore things on America again. That's the whole thing. That's the biggest thing I think about the tariffs too. It's about rearranging global trade, and not just because Trump feels we're being shortchanged now. It's because he wants to bring back, I think, what's really value producing industries, mining, manufacturing. Of course, we've always had technology and things like that, but not so much in materials, more in IT and stuff, I think. So we're getting to materials technology. Of course, hydrograph clean power is one that I'm following very carefully.
Yes.
In the graphene area, there's
great
lots of promise in the graphene. alongside some of these shortages, I think that we're going. Well, let's get to a couple of your favorites, several of your favorites, if you don't mind, Chen. Um, so I think we agree that we're probably in a long-term, I don't know how in terms of time, but in terms of distance to the upside, a very significant bull market right now. Perhaps the last stage of a bull market that's my thinking, in gold and silver. And we should see, as Michael Oliver wants to see, what he's watching says the most important chart he follows right now is to see silver overtake gold in terms of its increase, And that's usually a key to the last stages of a very long bull market. I would suggest that we're probably in the last stages of a bull market, but it might last another year or two. What do you think?
I say second half of the bull market. Okay, so silver start overtaking gold. We can see from the recent rebound.
Right.
Part of it due to the critical metal, due to China put silver under export control, and silver could hit a new high today or this week.
Yeah.
Gold's still a little bit further away. So,
Yeah.
so I like silver. So I think silver. I kind of agree with you. I think $80 to $100 looks like a fair, very interesting
Yeah.
place to be.
Possibility.
Yeah, and there are also changes, dramatic changes in the financial space. I don't know if you follow that or not. Crypto, they start to use gold as the backing. So there's a gold-backed crypto right now.
Stable coins.
Yeah, stable coin.
Right.
Gold-backed stable coin. Okay, that has been one of the biggest contributor for gold inflow recently. Purchases.
That's true.
There is no stable backed silver. There's no. I've been talking to Eric Sprott office, and we're trying to push. We try to talk to the stable coin guy.
Yeah.
Maybe they should consider silver. They just think silver is market too small. Maybe silver is $100. They will reconsider.
Yeah.
One thing about silver is silver gold ratio too high. Historically, it's 10 to 1. Now we are like almost 100 to 1. Now it's 60, maybe 50.
Yeah.
I think when silver gold ratio getting lower, people will value silver more. That's the funny part of it. It's more expensive, people value you more. So it's more likely silver will become a monetary metal again when silver goes up.
Yeah.
So that is counterintuitive, but it's this way.
Yeah. At the same time, it has such industrial application.
Exactly. So we already saw Russia already put silver as one of the monetary metal. India already put like a semi-monetary metal. By starting next year, you have silver in Indian citizen, you can give to the central bank, and central bank will loan you 85% of the silver value. And interestingly, they put the gold and silver ratio at 10 to 1. So, that's very interesting. I think we'll put pressure on China. Historically, China always used silver as a currency. Always. That's last for thousands of years.
Yeah.
You go to the bank. Bank means silver in Chinese. So they could be changes. I hope for different attitude towards silver in China as well.
Do you think China would do that? Already make a silver-backed currency, possibly?
Possibly, yeah. You can see it starting from the East, always as coming from. They're trying to move away from dollar-dominated.
Well, for sure, they're trying to move away from the dollar. That's the geopolitical. But will they themselves succumb? Will the politicians submit to the disciplines of a monetary-backed currency? That's the question, because it's. There's a reason why kings and princes and, throughout history, the rulers they tried to cheat and, they clip the coins, take a little gold off them or whatever and use it for their military. Usually it has to do with geopolitics. Sometimes it has to do with other things, but it's about cheating against the people, essentially. It's what they do. It's what Nixon did in 1971 when he took gold away from the people. And they started having, if there's a wonderful website, WTF happened in 1971. I don't think it's up to date, but if you go back and look at all the social and moral issues that have been in decline since 1971, back in those days, one wage earner could support a family. Now
Yeah,
it's very difficult. It's very
yeah,
uncommon for that to
yeah.
happen. So,
Back to old days, you have a gold coin, you can support your family for a year. I think we're going back to there. Make a gold will be more valuable, and
we'll
so
go
is
back.
silver. So I'm very excited about that.
If we go back
So,
to it, it won't be comfortable though. It'll be a lot of changes. I think whatever happens, it looks to me like we're facing a lot of changes right now. Chen, they
mhm.
call it the fourth turning.
Yeah, yeah.
Major changes. So
Yeah, you know how much I love silver. You came to my home, you saw there were so many silverwares everywhere.
years ago,
So you know, I like a silver, like a physical silver. I think it's about time to reevaluate. So I'm kind of that's why I think it's second half of the bull market. I don't see this is like
the
just second,
last
like the
the last
last
inning or
round.
two, not the last.
I think it can last pretty long.
We're in the fourth inning of a nine inning game. Yeah,
Maybe fifth, yeah, maybe
yeah, fifth.
fifth,
Okay.
sixth.
All right, but anyway,
So,
yeah,
but also you know, Jay, we understand that those mining companies, they're pricing far below the current gold and silver price, right? So
right.
you see their mining plan, a lot of company they use 2000 gold, you know, they use 20 silver. Now where we are in gold and
No,
silver
yeah.
price, they're making a lot of money.
Well, and the when these companies do their economic studies, still looking at $2,400 gold or something like that, and so it's $2,000 above that. So, and the gold miners and I guess the silver miners are making money hand over fist right now too at these
Yes,
prices.
yes,
But gold has been ahead. Now,
absolutely.
silver is going to catch up with gold to a great extent, I think. So you see a repricing of silver relative to gold and gold relative to the dollar, for example. So yeah, it's a good time to be a bull in the precious metals markets. There's no doubt about it. And of course, the people that haven't been on, there's still, if we're in the middle of this bull market, then there's still some time for people to wake up and enjoy the ride, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like market hasn't really wake up, especially for the mining company.
Hmm.
Like early this morning, silver was already up a dollar. SIV, the silver ETF was down early this morning.
Crazy.
Can you believe it? Now it's coming up. People
Yeah.
start waking up. Buy orders start coming in. Now it's positive. I think last time I checked, it's up 4%. So that's just tell you, even this morning, you could have buy the silver companies at
A
the
discount.
discount. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about a few of your favorites. And among the producers, Avena Silver and Gold is one that you were telling your people about when it was well below a dollar. I've known the company's founder, and his son is now running the company,
Yeah.
David Wolfen. Um, what are your thoughts about that company? Because they're fairly small, but then they picked up this other project that Coeur had at one time, Coeur Mining, and David is doing a great job in developing that and building it up and exploring. And it looks like that's a company that still has pretty good growth prospects
Oh, yeah,
in terms
absolutely.
of
Uh,
production, never mind the margins.
Yes, Vino is my first 10 bagger in silver. You know, we were pounding the table when it was 40 cent. Core was selling their share because Ford has a cash flow to build their Rochester mine. They need money. So they sold the share at 40 something cents. Block trade. We were talking about that actually with the company recently. Yeah, that I was one of those step in and tell my subscriber to buy. I bought from open market. You can just buy from at 40 cents. Now it's actually trading at $5.
Yeah.
It's good. Well, good trade. But I think they still have a lot left. One thing about them, they can upgrade their mill. Their mill is fully permitted. They are looking to upgrade their mill.
Mhm.
And then the
Expanded, Chen?
project,
They expanded, right?
yeah, the
Yeah.
project they bought from Core, when Core couldn't get a permit, was called La Preciosa,
Ah,
and they got a permit already.
yeah.
So this is a higher grade, up to 3 times higher than the existing Avino mine. So you can see, I see they underestimate their production by a great degree. This can go up a lot. You don't need 100-year mine life.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you can mine comfortably with 50-year mine life or 20-year mine life, which means their production can double or fivefold. So actually, I put in my newsletter, I think Core Core right now, they bought another company, called NGD, right?
Right.
New Gold.
Yes.
They bought that, and then their silver is down to 20% of their revenue. So they need to buy another silver company after they finish buying New Gold. I believe if David Wolfen, our friend David Wolfen, willing to sell, Core will be more than happy to buy Avino. Because the La Preciosa used to belong to Core, is one of the cornerstone asset for Core. They couldn't get a permit at that time. That's why they sold it. But Avino, to their credit, they got a permit, a fully permitted mine, high grade, a lot of high grade discovery. So I think they, in a heartbeat, they will want to buy Avino if our friend David Wolfen willing to sell.
Yeah. Well, I have an idea, Chen. Avino's been there for decades. Louis Wolfen, David's father, who I knew and knew quite well, he started that. So I think they probably knew the culture, knew the people, knew how to do things better than Coeur did at that stage, perhaps, and they got the permits. So these are the intangibles you can't see on the balance sheet or in any other way. But if you know the company knows, it's really important to be able to work with the people that you're living amongst, and
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Absolutely.
or
Even without the takeover, I see they can just grow organically. They have free cash flowing, they're expanding their mill, and this new mine will start, already start producing. They will start processing it in early next year. The grade is almost 3 times high as the existing one. It couldn't be better. It's a very, very good situation right now. I think their guidance is too low, way too low.
you're
So
talking
there
about
will be a lot of upside. Yeah.
You're talking about Avino now, right?
Avino, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And when Coeur bought Silvercrest Mines,
Yes.
that was such a great project. It had the margins higher than anything else that Coeur had. So they'll go out and then, yeah. So what are your thoughts about if Coeur were to pick up Avino and Newcrest? How do you see do you see that as a pretty good story then?
Yeah, it's good. I think Core, first of all, Silvercrest was my largest silver position, and then Core bought it. I'm happy. I
Yeah.
changed my share to Core share, and then Core at $20 US, I sold most of it, as I said to my subscriber, because it's getting more expensive. Now they bought New Gold, and then stock dropped from 22 to 13, 40% haircut. So I'm buying back, actually, for full disclosure. I've been buying back my position. I think they need to buy a silver company. If not, Avino could be something else, right? They need to have a silver content at least 25% to 30%. So to make themselves in the silver index. Otherwise, they will be kicked out of the silver index.
And they're known as a silver company since their inception. Coeur is known.
Yeah. Well, another could be Heckler. I can see Heckler. It could be a target, but Heckler is expensive. Maybe they buy. I feel like because Core going to be combined company going to have $2 billion a year free cash flow, so they can throw a lot of money in development. They can throw maybe $500 million in developing Avino to make it a 10 million ounce, right? 20 million ounce. They can throw money, and they have a lot of free cash flow. I feel Avino is a very good fit for them.
Interesting. All right. Let's go to your couple of your gold picks, your top gold picks. Equinox.
Equinox, yeah, great. I mean,
Equinox,
it's your pick too.
Oh yeah,
it's your pick. Congratulations.
I haven't followed B2, but Equinox, I just love the story, and especially since they acquired the company down there in Nicaragua.
Yeah. Darren Hall, he's doing a great job.
He's fantastic. He's just a great manager. I think one of the best mine managers in the world. So now they have the second largest project, and it's just coming on production now. That's the one that they picked up with the acquisition.
Yes.
Out in eastern Canada. Which one? It's in Nova Scotia, I think.
Yeah, Nova Scotia. That's a new mine. So the Equinox has two new mine, and it's breaking out. Its share doubled. I think it can put as long as they can deliver, it should double again. Maybe triple again. Then I will consider selling taking some profit. It's just amazing. I would like, you see the pattern I'm trying to follow. is I'm trying to buy a new project, a company with new project. And after they de-risk a new project, usually it's a great time to buy because the mine works the most is when they just fix all the problem and get into production. That's where Equinox right now.
Right.
B2 is a little bit behind. They have this goose mine. Recently, they said they're going to delay it by the production. It's not that they lowered the guidance by 20%, 20-30%. The market didn't like it. The share dropped from $6 to $4, and it's pretty severe drop. So I've been buying that. I think it's good opportunity. They have a pretty good track record building new mine. That B2. So yeah, so I have confidence they will get the goose mine up and running.
Where is that
First, they are
located?
already
Where is that located?
in northern Canada, very cold.
Oh,
So actually, yeah, those kind of project is need a careful planning. You need in the summer you ship everything. The winter just run the mine, and then when they freeze up again in the spring or summer, you ship the ore out, ship the concentrate out. Those kind of things. But they done that. They remember same guy they built a mine in Russia. Right? They built a mine in Russia that actually that's many years ago, 10 years ago, right? When Kinross bought their first one, the Bema, right? It's B2, right? The first one is the B1, and Bema go. The Kinross asked them to run the mine for them. Just think about how good they are. So they're decent, they're good miners, very good experience. I have high confidence they will deliver the goose mine.
I know that one of the big investments at B2 is Snowline's Valley or Snowline. They own a lot of shares of Snowline. I don't know exactly how many now, but a strategic investment. That's a wonderful deposit. That Valley deposit is going to be a huge money maker because
yes, absolutely,
high grade, bulk mineable, but right on surface, especially the highest part of the deposit, the highest grade part of the deposit is right on surface. So early on in the present value of this thing is going to be. So it would be interesting if a company like B2 could go in there, and maybe if they're really making a lot of money, they can afford to develop something like that. I don't know.
They should. They have so much free cash flow coming, especially for Snowline. We talked about before. The question was, where do you build a road, right, to go there? But actually, you can build a road from the back because the critical metal. So there's a road going to be built from the back, and so this is going
the access
going to get into production.
The valley. Yeah, that was one of the things about the valley was pretty remote, a little remote.
Exactly. I see B2 probably will buy out Snowline one day, or there will be a bidding war for Snowline. So
of course, I still like Snowline. They have a lot of exploration potential besides that, but that's another story. Well, okay, so those are a couple of your major, big guys, the guys that are producing tons of cash flow. On the exploration side, though, there's still a lot of them that you like, some of which I follow. Alaska Silver and Apollo Silver are two that may be going with me to the Metals Investor Forum in Toronto at the end of February. I know they're two of your favorites. Do you want to comment on those?
Yeah. Alaska Silver, I've been to their project. Okay, so it's a big CRD deposit. Yep. And in Western Alaska, used to call Western Alaska, used to call, and now it changed their name to Alaska Silver. Right. The share was much higher before, then they go across the fault. They were not able for 1 year. They were not able to find where the CRD is, so the share was like a drop, like 80%. If you see the history. Recently, they found it. So they found it. But the stock hadn't really moved. So I think this is a good opportunity. They're going to drill that out. And the people there are first class. Their exploration, they're very good, very good.
Peter McGowan, well known for CRD.
Very well known. Yeah, very well known.
It's very close to that story.
Yeah. Apollo is different. Apollo, if you look at what Alaska Silver, if you compare with a few years, Apollo trading at one quarter, 1/5 that used to be. Apollo was trading at 4 or 5 times. It used to be one of my favorite, but it's still probably going higher. It's going to be likely list in the United States. What it does, it also a big CRD system in Mexico.
Mexico,
The
right?
story is they couldn't get a social license. There's
Yeah.
another company I used to own called the Max Silver was taken over, so it's gone. And it's a big profit for me, and they actually found that big deposit, but they were kicked out because of the social issue. But Apollo and their sister company just was taken over recently by Torex for the Prime Mining. They are very good at getting a social license. So they're working on the social license. I believe they should get the social license very soon, maybe in the next a month or two. So the stock still have a lot of upside left.
Oh my goodness, because that was one that Mag Silver really wanted to have badly.
Exactly.
Because it reminds me a little bit of what you just told us about the Avino and that mine that they weren't able.
Yeah, La Preciosa. Yes.
Yeah. Very similar in some ways. I should getting back to Alaska Silver, that part of that deposit that was faulted off, and now you say they found it. That should be taking the stock up very high, but I'm looking at it now. It's only 62 cents in US money.
Yeah, I've been telling my subscribers recently actually to accumulate at this price. It's no brainer. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean it was just an amazing deposit. They went ahead and I think they did I guess did they do the economics, but at least they had a resource. It was almost 1,000 grams of silver equivalent there, Chen. Extremely rich, near surface. Now I don't know how deep this is. It folded downwards, probably. I would imagine so. Maybe the other part of it is going to be more difficult to get to than what they found. I don't know.
No, it's not really downward. It's CRD is going like this. So actually,
okay, but the faulted area,
they just follow it. Yeah, they follow, go, and then it's a fault.
Yeah,
they couldn't find it.
But it didn't fall downward. It shifted.
Yeah, they could go either way. Could go up and down. Could go. They couldn't find it. They drilled a fence of last year. They couldn't find it. The stock was crashed. Got killed.
So now they
just announced like a week or two ago they found it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm supposed to.
There will be a lot of drilling, a lot of excitement. Frankly, I don't understand why the share price is.
I probably would have been talking to Kit Mars, the president of that company, instead of you, Chen, but he's over in Switzerland right now, and I'm hoping to talk to him very shortly about this project and update myself and my followers as well. A couple of others that I don't follow right now. You mentioned, well, there's Majestic Silver, which is a producer too, right? A big one.
Yeah. First, Majestic is a producer.
Majestic.
The uniqueness of that is they're 60% silver. Not very few company has such a high revenue with silver. So when silver go up, First Majestic always go up. I own, full disclosure, I own First Majestic share. I own call options on First Majestic. That call option already up many folds already. So, but it's doing well.
Endeavor Silver is one I've never really followed much, but what about that?
Endeavor, again, it's a similar idea with Silvercrest. They start a new mine, silver mine called Tanarona. It's in Mexico. They just started. It's a similar size, about 7 million ounce silver equivalent. Okay, 60% silver, 40% gold. So that's they just got it in production. It was like 1 year delay. You can see the share was go up and then drop because of delay. Now I think it will go up again. So I was buying recently.
Yeah, has it rebounded a lot from its bottom yet?
It started to rebound. So I think it should go back to the old high. It got a 30% haircut due to the delay of the new mine.
Well, I still think most investors, not us that go to the Metals Investor Forum and the mining sector, but most investors, 99% of them are still not, 95% of them are still not focused on.
They're not looking. They're not looking.
The upside, I think, is just enormous from here.
You look at today's silver price is within 20 cents of a historical high. Before I came to the show, maybe it's already at the historical.
Well, it's 53.52 in the cash market, so that must be in place.
The silver. Let me just check. I mean, this is so crazy. The silver mining company is still down 20-30% from the peak. I
Yeah.
think that's a great opportunity, Jay.
Yeah, I believe it
No
is.
brainer.
I know that and I'm following Sprott Silver Miners, which is one that I own. In fact, rather than to do so much due diligence as you do with all these different companies, I just said, let's buy that. And it's doing extremely well. I see it's up 5.25% today. So it's a pretty good move. All right, Chen. Well, let's some of your favorite names that you mentioned in your newsletter on a regular basis, and you really keep people up to date on this stuff extremely well. I'd like to ask you, I think you're going to be participating in the January Metals Investor Forum. Do you know some of the companies you're inviting there at this
Oh,
stage?
there's quite a few. I have the Silver 47. I don't know you follow that.
I haven't, no.
There's a project in Alaska. There's a project they also have in Nevada, two silver project, high grade. And I personally, frankly, Jay, I think there's a renaissance in Alaska. There's a lot of Alaska projects doing very well because Trump actually remember they invest in another Alaska project. That project tripled, right? So because of the critical metal, I
Yeah.
think all these Alaska projects going to get a premium. I think that's another one. And you also
Especially if silver is now considered to be a critical metal.
exactly.
Yeah, we have that, and Alaska Silver also has, I think, some other side metals.
Alaska Silver also has gallium in
Yeah,
this
a gallium or
as well.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, the critical.
yeah.
So is another company I own in Sarah Pasco. They also have galliums in,
Yeah.
and they're working very closely with the United States government. So maybe when this forecast came alive, then maybe they already got some money from the government. Because our government is supposed to reopen this week.
I know that in the past you said there could be a tug of war between China and the United States with regard to Cerro de Pasco's project. You think
Possible, but the United States probably want to move first. So I wouldn't be surprised United States government invests in Cerro de Pasco.
that's yeah, the government is starting to do that. A lot of people of a conservative persuasion don't think the government should get involved like that, but it's not what we think should be, but it's what is. So maybe just before I let you go, Chen, to ask you about the economy, you showed me a couple of charts showing weakness in the labor market, and I have to think that at some point in time, the Republicans just took a pretty good drubbing in the in this last election, not the midterms, but I have to think that people, and it was economics was really the issue. I think there's lots and lots of very hurting Americans. We think about the people that can't go two paychecks without having a problem staying in their homes or putting food on their table. That's pretty sad.
Yeah,
Wouldn't happen
very
in
sad.
China. The Chinese people are savers, but Americans have been encouraged to spend beyond whatever they make. I mean, you're a good patriot if you go in debt. That's the sort of story they gave us, and it's the opposite actually. But in any event, talk to us a little bit about your thoughts on the economy and because if we're really heading into something on the downside, and I think it isn't anywhere nearly as good as what Trump claims it is. Stock market's making new highs, but that's not the economy. The economy's been so detached from the stock market for so long that I think, from what I see, and I'm sharing your views here on just talk about your thoughts on the U.S. economy, because if they start printing money like mad and there's some liquidity shortages already starting to pop up, it seems, then that could be the fuel that really sets this precious metals market on fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Recently, because the government shut down, the employment data didn't show up, right? But we have ADP data.
Right.
I send you a copy of ADP. ADP data looks very, very bad.
Yes.
ADP looks like we're heading to recession.
Right.
And then we know ADP is private sector. Our employment data is ADP plus the government, right? So that's why there's a difference. And then they also use this model to adjust, like the DAS model, the
Yeah.
burst DAS
Death
model, all
birth
these things.
model. Yeah, it's
So it's
all
complicated, but in general, it's the private plus government. We know government is not doing well because government shut down. So you can imagine the job loss in the past few months can be or weeks can be very severe. The Fed may have to cut more. So that's a problem. But we also have inflation. So that's a problem.
exactly.
Similar to 70s.
Yeah, 3%
Stagflation,
now.
it's
It's back
called.
up to 3.2% or something like that. Now the inflation rate, and they wanted to get it below 2. Yeah, the one chart that you showed me here, Chen, I see the last 6 months, 2 months were positive, 4 were negative, and two of the last 3 months were negative. That is job losses. So, and that's of course, the non-farm sector of the economy. So, yeah, I think that gold and silver and the mining shares definitely the place to be. Of course, I like my hydrograph. We'll see where that goes. That has to connect with the metals in many ways, I think. And for example, I know Kirsten Brower told us that a thin sheet of their graphene on copper will make the copper a lot more conductive than it is by itself. So there's
Whoa,
a lot of things taking
maybe it will
place.
replace silver.
I don't know. Well, it's more conductive, a lot more conductive than copper. I don't know where it stands with regard to silver in that regard. But
Okay.
anyway, all right, Chen. Well, any closing thoughts? Just gold and
Yeah,
silver.
I just
Silver,
feel
silver, silver, silver.
very very good about this market, and I've been getting a lot of people, average investor ask me why gold silver went up so much. They they didn't have a chance to buy on this pullback. I see that's the way it is because people see it's just a temporary pullback, and then the people get in. It's very hard to chase.
Yeah.
So as I said in the past couple of weeks, I tell my subscribers to accumulate silver, to buy silver stock, buy silver stock call options, and buy junior. So far, it's working beautifully. I hope it just continue. And I do see silver potentially go to $80 to $100. We'll see.
Yeah, it could very well be. I think Michael Oliver, um, not among polite company perhaps, but quietly thinking numbers even north of there. But who knows? One day at a time, right, Chen? And it's
Yes.
looking good today with silver now at $53 and something. Michael thought that if it gets over 50, it's off to the races. So here we are. We shall see. Chen, thank you so much for spending time with us. Great.
Thank you, Jay.
Always
Appreciate it.
good to have your insights in these markets and also your unique insights with regard to China. It's very helpful.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Well, folks, that is it for this week. I think I'm going to have Doug Casey with me next week, and not sure, perhaps someone else. Of course, if Hydrograph has anything special going on, we'll try to get someone to talk about that as well. Until we meet again, goodbye and God's blessings to you.